Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Got a couple of new things today, but before we get into that, go ahead and tell me where you are joining from, and we will see who we've got in the chat here. Go ahead and if you're watching live, just drop something in the chat, say hello from whatever city you're joining from, and we'll see everybody pop up on the map here. Welcome, good to see you. Hello from London, hello from Ireland, from the UK, from Ontario, Canada. Hello from India. Great to see everybody here today. So a couple things. This is going to be a bit of a rough one for me today because I'm trying, as I'm sure you know from last week, a new camera. This is not it. We'll see it in a second. But that also means this is the first time I've actually used this thing live, and I am still figuring things out. So, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. But yeah, this is a great crowd. A lot of folks from Europe today. This is great. Good to see you all here in the chat. So if you are new here, welcome. And we are going to chat about the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro, live streaming gear. Probably today talk a lot about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, which I just got this week. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have in the chat. So if you're watching live, just drop something in the chat if you have a question, and make sure you mention my name. So make sure you say @AaronParecki, and that makes it show up nice and big here. And then I will be able to see it, and we'll talk about it. So, cool. So yeah, the where are we going to start? We're going to start with. Let's take a look at quickly what I've got going on here, and hopefully this will explain why I might be a little bit more making more editing mistakes and cutting mistakes than normal. So I've got a couple new things. So first of all, this camera over here, this is the same Sony ZV-1, which I've been using. I figured out what happened last time. And it was set to 4K because I had just been recording using it. And apparently when it's in 4K mode, it then has to do more work to output the 1080 signal, or it was outputting 4K, I don't actually know which. Sorry. Yep, echo. And yeah, okay. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so I actually don't know why that popped up. Okay, this might be a bit of a challenge here. I'm keep an eye on that button. So yeah, this camera, it's now in 1080 mode. I shouldn't have any more problems with that overheating during this show. Crossing fingers. So that's that one. As normal, I've got my two ATEM Minis here. The audio you're hearing is now routed differently, and that's because normally I have it running through my main camera here, which is the Lumix G7. And one thing I thought was really interesting, so right next to that, I've got this, which one is this on? Yeah, so if I go show you over here, oh my God. Okay, one of my macros is doing that. That's what's going on. My macro is turning on the audio when I press that button. Sorry, okay. I forgot to unprogram that. This is going to be a problem. Yes, so I was saying audio. When I plugged in, well, let me show you that camera first. So, okay, audio is good. That camera, now my new Blackmagic camera is right next to my G7. And it turns out that the Blackmagic HDMI output is very nearly real time. And what that means is that when I have my audio routed through the G7, it's way delayed. So as I'm talking, I've now compensated for that delay. But let me turn the delay off really quick. So my audio is running directly into the ATEM. This is with no delay in the ATEM. And if you look at the Pocket 4K image, which is the one I'm looking at right now, this is probably in sync. And this is no delay in the ATEM Mini. And the HDMI, of course, is whatever the camera is sending. So that is a much more real-time signal compared to the G7. So this is the G7, and if you now watch what you see in on the screen called main camera, this is probably now very delayed if you're trying to look at my lips on this one. So normally when I route the audio through that camera, there's no delay because the audio the camera sends out the HDMI and the audio at the same time. But now that I'm trying to mix two cameras, they have very different HDMI delays, which means I have to route the audio separately. So yeah, I noticed that about 10 minutes ago and had to account for that. So what I did was I moved my audio into the ATEM Mini so that I can control the delay there. But that means I either am going to be talking in sync with the Blackmagic camera, or I have to add 3 frames. I think it was 3. Now I don't actually remember what my delay was when I measured this. Oh, hey, we'll do the sync test. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the audio from the camera, so you're going to hear double again. But what's going on is you're hearing the built-in mic of the G7 plus this mic up here. And if I clap and then add a delay, closer, add another frame. Oh yeah, now it's in sync. Okay, so you're still hearing both audio feeds, the little pink microphone up here, plus the built-in mic from the camera, but I've added 5 frames of delay to the ATEM, and now they're in sync. So at least if I keep that in mind, now I will not, you won't hear an echo if I accidentally turn that on again. Of course, now I'm totally out of sync of the Blackmagic camera, which is this one. So if I wanted to get back in sync with this, I have to disable the audio delay on the ATEM, and now I should be in sync with the Blackmagic camera. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let me add that back and go back to the multi-view. Cool, okay. And it's extremely distracting listening to myself. So with a delay, that's extremely annoying. My streaming is cutting when I mentioned that the audio is out of sync. So I don't think my streaming is dropping. Let me just double check YouTube. YouTube thinks I'm fine. So the audio, you will hear a frame of audio drop when I adjust the delay. Am I on the right camera? Yeah. You will hear a frame of audio drop when I make the delay adjustment, and that's just because it's syncing up with the new feed. Do I have a gate? Let me see if I can bring my chat back. Do I have enough stuff in here to do my... Nope. Bring back H2R, not the countdown. This one. Okay. John, oh, hey, good to see you here. Thanks for joining. I'm trying out the latest version of H2R Graphics made by John from Here to Record. Why is my little thumbnail on? Okay. And do I have a gate on? I do. I have a... Let me show you what I've got on here. So I've got... I have a expander and a compressor, and it's set like this. So it's... if I turn these off, you'll hear the difference, which is that you just hear... Oops, let me take that down. You just hear a lot more sort of background noise. Hear that little fuzz? So I like to have it like this, but it might be a little bit aggressive. So I could tone that down. So I can see, like if I stop talking, you can see it starts reducing the background hiss. So yeah, let me know if this is better. Sometimes it's really hard to hear the effect of that audio processing on yourself when you're the one talking, because you just hear the noise. You just hear yourself, and it's hard to tell what's coming back in the headphones. Cool. So yeah, let me know if this is any better though. And cool. Okay. let me, yeah, okay, let me go, get back up at the chat and catch up and see what's going on here, and then we'll get into some of the some questions, and we'll talk a little bit more about that new camera. All right. Oh, so something from the early up in the chat. Keith says, are you able to see a list of the Hyperdeck Mini video files if you have a number on the same card? I received my Hyperdeck yesterday and could only see one file at a time. Damn it, echo. I gotta stop doing that. Okay, at least it shouldn't be echoing this time. Let's just sound bad. Yeah, so to answer the question is, the answer is yes. If you have more than one clip, you will see the list. The trick is they have to be all the exact same frame rate and the exact same resolution, and everything has to match. So that is probably why you're not seeing them. And it basically just picks like the first one and then looks for everything has to match whatever it thinks the first one is. So that's probably what you're seeing there. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Scrolling through the chat here, catching up. And hey, John, I'll give you a bug report live. It's not highlighting my channel name for some reason. So it should be, see, it should be doing, I typed in my channel name here. So it's supposed to show me this in a new color so I can see it easier. But yeah, so this question is, man, there's the audio again. Okay, maybe I should just edit that macro right now so that you can all see what I'm doing also. Do you have any solution for the ATEM and Blackmagic Pocket 6K to get 3 camera pictures and crop the signal? I've never used the 6K. I'm just now starting with the 4K, so not sure I know how to answer that question exactly. But assuming the 6K can output a regular HDMI, which I'm sure it can, it should just go. So I don't quite understand what the question is here. Pickle Jar says, what lens did you get for the new Blackmagic 4K? So one of the reasons I got the 4K was because I already have a bunch of Micro Four Thirds lenses because I'm on the Lumix line. So so actually what I've got, I've switched my lenses around. I brought my 15mm Lumix lens onto this G7 because turns out my zoom lens was always just set at 15 anyway. And I put the zoom lens on the Pocket 4K, which is the one I have normally been using in the stream, so 12 to 35. And so the Pocket 4K is using the 12 to 35, which I normally have on my stream here. And this lens is actually the new one that, well, not new, I've had it for a while, but this is a new one that I haven't used on my streams yet. And yeah, the nice thing was I didn't have to buy any new lenses because I already have a bunch. And that was actually one of the reasons I got the 4K and not the 6K, because I don't have any of those lenses. Cool. Okay, Warren says, if I have 2 ATEM Mini Pros, can I use each one to send a different stream, say Facebook and YouTube, or is Restream or Caster a better option? I would say probably using one of those Restream services is better, because if you are going to push a stream from your studio to multiple locations, you have to have enough bandwidth to push both those streams out. And there's not a huge advantage to doing that over letting that be done up in the cloud. So it's probably just easier and safer to let that happen up in the cloud. Oh, and now I'm at all the echo comments. Yeah, so, all right, live macro edit coming up, says John. Yeah, so what's going on is normally when I have my audio routed through the G7, one of the things my macro does, let me see if I have that window open here. One of the things, there it is. One of the things that macro does is mess with my audio settings. So this should be the one that is live. And if I go down to the macros, so I have a macro in here called, for example, main camera. And this is that first button in the top left of my controller. And what this does is it sets the program input to camera 1, disables any key. Oh, that shouldn't be on there. Whoops. Well, apparently doesn't have any effect, but it's silly to turn it on and then off again. So yeah, it turns off both keys, and then this is what it does. So it says disable this mic 2, which is the music. So that's the intro music, and then turn on camera 1's audio. And this is what I need to now change, because my audio is now coming into the ATEM Mini directly. So this needs to now say external mic 1, not external mic 2. And so I should be able to get away with just editing that. However, I don't quite understand what these are, what the source ID is. Like, it's the same number most of the time, except if I split the mic between, like, if I do the dual, like split the left and right channel out into separate channels, this number changes. So I can't figure out what this actually means. So it's usually safer to go and actually just record a macro to make sure that I get the right number there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and make a new macro in here called mic audio on. We're going to record, and then I have to actually go and do this. So hold on. It's okay to have an extra off because I can just delete that from the macro. And then I am going to, while I'm here, I'm actually going to change the delay because I want to be able to make a macro to flip the delay so I can just hit a button, right? So I'm just going to change to 4, back to 5, and that should be recorded into the macro. And now I can use that. So back to the macro, stop recording. Okay, I'm going to save this out. Audio test. Hey, the garbage truck is here. Okay, macros. Now, audio test. There it is, way down at the bottom. Okay, so now I know that I can grab, okay, so it is the same number after all. Oh, and look at that, I'm glad I tested this because it's called just external mic, not external mic 1. So I'm going to grab this other one, though, the delay. And now when I go to camera 1, I'm going to say external mic. So turn the external mic on, set the delay to 5 frames because that's going to match the G7. And yeah, cool. And then I'm going to set this also for here because that's my Sony ZV-1 over here. I don't want to use the G7 audio for that. Do I have any other audio toggles in here? Let's take a look. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for Fairlight Audio Mixer Input Source Mix Type. It's a mouthful. And any other macros that contain that. Yeah, so pre-roll, I don't need to worry about that right now. Start program. I guess I should switch this to external mic. And this is, oh, yeah, I should do that while I'm here. Assuming I'm going to leave this set up this way, which I guess I should. This is just going to be my new setup because I think now that oops, that one's not audio. Now that the ATEM has audio delay built in, there's no advantage really anymore to running my audio into the camera, especially if I'm trying to match multiple cameras, which is the real challenge here. Okay, I think that's it. I don't think any of my other macros mess with the audio. So then that's great. Now I need to make a new macro that toggles to the Blackmagic camera so that I can make a button to switch to that so I can show you. So what we're going to do is copy, and sorry I'm not looking at the chat right now. I hope everything is fine. It'd be really sad if I was just like on mute this whole time. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to put it way down at the bottom, called 28. Actually, we're just going to get rid of 27 because I don't really care about that anymore. So 28, we're going to call it. So my Pocket 4K is not plugged into this ATEM. It's plugged into the other ATEM because I ran out of inputs. So I'm actually going to call this ATEM plus audio plus mic. And this is actually camera 4 because that's where the other ATEM is plugged in. Disable the keys. And then we're going to set the mic on and turn off the delay. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, and this becomes 27. All right. Oh, shoot. I just realized I've been editing this test file the whole time. Okay, so I'm going to grab all the macro pool and bring it back into my actual file that I want to update and edit that. Is that safe? Maybe I should back this up. I feel like I haven't actually backed this up properly in a while. Back it up. I'm just going to copy it to a new file. Oh. No, I have, shoot, I've messed everything up now. This is the one I'm trying to restore from because this is when I'm using H2R. And, okay, yeah. So I'm going to paste all those macros in here, and there they are. Save that file, back to here, restore this, only the macros, and cross your fingers, restoring 100%. Okay, now back to, let me take a look at the chat, see if I've blown everything up. Okay, so the macros are a bit hard to understand. This is a true fact. So where was that one? Yeah. Macros are beneficial, but hard to get your head around. I haven't seen a GUI program for doing this. That would certainly be possible for someone to create one that edits that XML file because it's really just XML at the end. But the best I can say is like this method of what I'm showing you right now is actually like how I recommend doing this, right? Of like going into the, recording whatever steps you need in the macro, exporting it, pulling those XML lines out so that you can see them laid out like this, because then you can actually see what's happening in each step. It's about what you can do. So, okay, what I've got now is this is restored, which means if I press to my other camera and press my other camera, the audio is now staying on. And let me just double check that. Let me double check. I'm going to turn the music on for a second. And yeah, okay. And it brings my audio back now, switches audio on with the camera cut. That's good. So I now have another macro in here, which I'm ready to use, called ATEM plus mic. And what I need to do now is make a button on my Stream Deck. So where's my Stream Deck? This one on the Raspberry Pi. And page 2, page 3. Okay, do I have any extra buttons here I can cannibalize? No. So I'm going to use this button. It's going to be called P4K. And it's going to first run macro on the main one, the macro I just made. So recent update in this, they now show the macro names in here, which is super convenient because wow, that was annoying before. It doesn't know about my new macros because this needs to reload. It needs to resync. Is there a button for that? I'm just going to set it to 28 because I don't want to run the resync command and risk losing everything. I don't want to risk that. Okay, so then we're going to run that macro, and then I'm going to set the HDMI output on the other ATEM to input 4. So that is set aux bus to the Pocket 4K. And that's going to set the HDMI out of that one. And this button should be live. Now let's try it. And that switched to Pocket 4K. And the audio should be in sync because it should have removed the audio delay from the, oh yeah, that's in sync. Cool. So that should have removed the delay from the ATEM. Now you should be hearing me in sync. And now this is the cool part. If I switch back to my other camera, now I should be in sync still. So that just added the 5 frames of delay. And I wish I had those on the same screen. Let me go duplicate these buttons. I'm going to copy that button to there. Cool. So now I have main camera, Blackmagic camera. Now you'll notice that there's a little gap in audio, right? Because it's like either going backward or forward in time when I switch. So you don't want to use this for like what I'm doing right now of in the middle of dialogue cutting and to cameras that have different audio delays. But if you know that you can pause your dialogue and then cut the camera, then you can adjust for the different delays in the different cameras. So yeah, that's that's a quick demo of dealing with audio delays. So I've been actually getting this question a lot, and I've been meaning to do a proper video on it and not just like randomly insert it into my live streams of dealing with when your cameras have multiple or have different different thresholds for the different delay out the HDMI. And this was a demo of what I was going to do in that video, so you got a sneak peek. Cool. Yeah, so let's keep going. Let me keep going with my Blackmagic story. And I'm looking at the chat here as well. So, okay, that wasn't what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. So, where was I? H2R Graphics, come back. Ryan says, looks like you nailed the macro. Thanks. Yep, that worked. First try. So, how much color control do you have over the Blackmagic 4K? No LUTs in the ATEM Mini. Yeah, so the ATEM Mini doesn't do any color processing itself. What you do get in the ATEM Mini is control over the color processing in the 4K, the Pocket 4K. So you might also notice that my colors don't quite match between these two cameras because I've only spent about 3 minutes trying to make them match. So what I can show you though is color matching, and yeah. Oh, and then Mikhail says you should raise back the threshold for the gate a bit. That's, let's take a look at that. So is it, oh, are you hearing this little popping? There we go. That looks better. Yeah, I don't want it fluttering when I'm not talking. Okay, better. God, that's distracting. Okay, 5 frames is just enough to be really annoying to listen to yourself. Also, thank you, Michael, for the super chat. I just saw that and appreciate it. And yes, my background colors are now green. Two questions. Current max on Mini Pro is 1080p 60. I assume better than 1080 or camera dependent. What is the best camera to just stream 1080p? So yeah, the ATEM Mini doesn't do 4K itself. It's just 1080. 60 frames a second is the most you can do on it. That's also the most you would ever want to do. You're not going to be, there's no reason to stream 120 frames a second. There's barely any reason to stream 60 unless you're doing gaming or something. As far as the best camera to just stream 1080, I really like this Lumix G7. This is this camera is the Lumix G7, and the reason I like it is because it can, once you get the little battery adapter, you can power it over that over USB continuously. It does not ever overheat. It has clean HDMI out. It has a microphone jack. It has been extremely stable for me. I've run this thing for literally hours, multiple days a week, and have had zero trouble with it. So it's also extremely affordable. It's $500, including a kit lens. And that is, yeah, so it's just, it's great. So let me drop a link to this. My favorite streaming camera, because yeah, this thing is just great. This one I've just had permanently mounted here, and it's cheap enough that I don't plan on ever using it for anything else. So it's just dedicated to this desk. We'll see about the Blackmagic though. That's going to be it's going to be in competition for which one runs my main camera during these streams. Shane says, how do you display live comments in your live stream? I display it just like this. I've got this program, H2R Graphics, by John Barker from Here to Record. He's in the chat here today. And you just drop in the video ID or the video URL, and then it starts pulling comments. And I can just click on one to show it on the stream. And then I've got a, this is actually like a separate window out from my computer, which is a separate monitor running into the ATEM, and it's doing Luma key on that. But I've talked about that process a few different times in the stream, so I won't repeat all that again here. And John Barker has a video on his channel as well. How do you add that gate? So there's the whole audio processing tab in here is just fantastic. So you get, you can just go into your audio for whatever camera or microphone you're using, and you get to just adjust all sorts of stuff. It's super cool. I absolutely love it's built into the ATEM Mini. Cool. So, oh, Robert says, whatever you've done to the sound sounds a lot better. Thanks. I have the biggest difference in here is now there is a rug over there. So about half, a little bit more than half of the room is now a rug on the ground. So that cuts a lot of the bouncing around. The other thing I did, which I just got the tripods in for this, or not tripods, I guess. They're light stands. But let me switch to my phone camera. Can I do that? Oh, don't want to run over this power cord. Switch to that camera. Where is that camera? That's not what I meant to do. That was cool though. Get rid of the, there we go, get rid of that. This one. Okay. There we go. So this is my desk, and then those two cameras. I made these little panels. These are I can't really walk around and have you still hear me. These are, yes, I can. Apologies for the terrible audio in, which camera is that? This camera. Now you can hear me. Yes. So this is actually a poster board, and I've got a bunch of them. So it's a poster board that I've glued, or not glued, stuck these little things onto. And I have a couple of them around here. I have a pile I need to deal with still. I need more poster boards for those. And then I got this stand. So this is a little light stand, and it's just hanging there. So my thought was, if I put that near me, let me get rid of the... Back to the regular mic? Yes. So my thought was, if I put those sort of near me, then it'll help like not have my voice get out into the room in the first place and reduce the echoing. So yeah, so far so good. Cool. That was a little sneak peek of my little mini tour of my studio. All right, let me take a look at more questions in the chat. Audio buttons don't work as expected. Off never works. Should my main mic HDMI from camera 1 be on and the rest AFVs? It depends on what you're trying to do. So the way I like to do it is just have one, because I'm mostly doing stuff like at a desk here. So I like to just have one audio source where it's just this microphone. And now that that's running into the ATEM directly, that is what so yeah, no matter what camera I'm on, I'm gonna always be having audio from this, because I don't want audio from the other cameras, except like you just saw, I was running audio from my phone mic so that you could hear me as I walked around. But that I manually fiddled with. I don't normally do that. So I don't usually use AFV because I'm really only gonna be doing one audio source anyway. Francesco says, if you connect the ATEM Mini Pro via Ethernet, the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Any solution for that? I'm not sure what you mean. There is no Wi-Fi in the ATEM Mini. So if you want your ATEM Mini on Wi-Fi, you need something else, like these little travel routers, which I'm a huge fan of. And that can actually bridge a Wi-Fi connection into a wired connection. So that's a way to get your ATEM Mini on Wi-Fi. Let me drop a link to that, because that thing is fantastic. And I've been testing a lot of stuff with that. Yeah, so not sure if you're talking about the your computer, sharing your Wi-Fi from your computer, that I guess depends on how you're doing that as to whether it would stop the Wi-Fi from working, but internet sharing should keep your Wi-Fi working fine from your laptop. Alan says, there's only one HDMI port, so it's for multi-view. Oh, that's the garbage truck. Apparently the other one was something else. Could you use the USB-C port as an output to view the program out via HDMI for local projection? Kind of. So there's no, like, you're not gonna be able to use a USB-C to HDMI dongle out of this, because that's not that kind of USB-C port. One of the worst parts about USB-C is that it can do everything. So now you can never actually be sure if what you're trying to do is going to work with the various things that are plugged in. So I love and hate USB-C. But yeah, so the local projection via the USB-C, what you could do is plug in a computer, pull it up as a webcam, full screen it, and project that out. There might be a little bit of a delay on that based on what computer you're using and the USB-C port, but for local projection, it might be fast enough that it's fine. Cool. Oh, Russell, thank you for the super chat. I missed this one earlier. Sorry about that. Thank you for joining. First time on the stream. I mentioned using the Stream Deck on the Raspberry Pi last week. How's that working? So that's what I'm using today. I've got my Stream Deck plugged in. It's just down here on my desk, and it's actually plugged in directly to a Raspberry Pi, which is back there in the pile of wires back there somewhere. And I'm running that software on the Raspberry Pi. I really like that because it means my laptop doesn't need to like sync up with everything here. And Companion, for some reason, Companion eats CPU for breakfast on my laptop. So I'm happy to just shove that over into the Raspberry Pi and have it deal with it there. And thanks for the super chat. Blankton says, I've been making LUTs in DaVinci and loading them to the Pocket 4K to help out the differences between the cinema camera and Canon. Yeah, totally. I haven't, right now, the LUT that's on here, the film, regular like Blackmagic film LUT, and I've done a little bit of color correction in the ATEM software. But again, like I said, I haven't actually spent that much time on it yet. So I need to definitely now actually try to make these two match, because they do not match right now at all. Okay, something. Oh, right. I can't. Yeah, I gotta. If I'm gonna make this dual camera thing a permanent fixture here, I have to rewire my situation here. Flybird Music says, I just bought an ATEM Mini. Which Type-C cable should I use? I see 2 and 3. So the ATEM Mini is only USB 2, even though it's a USB-C port. So you can just get a USB 2 cable, and that it'll work fine because they're cheaper. The ATEM Mini Pro is USB 3. I think it's only USB 3 when it's supporting recording to USB drives. I don't think it uses USB 3 to talk to the computer. I haven't actually confirmed that. But my guess is because the ATEM Mini can do a webcam over USB 2, the ATEM Mini Pro is probably doing the same thing. But yeah, the cable that you use, USB 2 cable should work fine. Although the one I've got here at my desk is this little short, again, shorter the better, because higher speeds require, like, they degrade faster in longer cables. But this one is actually like a Thunderbolt 3 or something. I don't even know what it is. It was a fancy one, expensive. But I also like shorter cables because there's less clutter on the desk. Craig says, can you give us a short tutorial of a good setup and use for the gate and compressor and limiter? Yeah, totally. I would love to. I'm not really an audio expert by any means, so all my knowledge of this is just from testing and using it. But yeah, I absolutely can. That is a good idea, and you got a little sneak peek of me adjusting it here, but yeah, I would love to do another video on that. Oh, James says he asked a question a couple weeks ago about long file recording, and no, I have not remembered to test that. But I do have a drive plugged into my other ATEM. Let me just go, if I just hit record, so you can see that drive is stopped. If I just hit record on this, go. Come on. No? Uh-oh. It must be formatted wrong or something. It's not recording. Sometimes I would like more feedback on this. This is what, oh, there it goes. Okay. Just took 5 presses. That's weird. Well, I'll just let this record and see what happens. Okay. Okay, Michael says, does looping macro keep running when a non-looping is executed? So it turns out the macros themselves are not set to looping or non-looping. It's the entire ATEM is set to loop macros or not loop macros. So it's a mode in the whole software. So if you go look at the macro window, when you run, it's this button here. So it's either everything is looping or everything is not looping. It's not per macro. And then that you can also see that in the XML file down at the bottom. There's this macro control loop false or true, which is again just in the whole state of the switcher, not per macro. So have I tested controlling that from a macro. I'm not sure if I have, because that would be interesting. I don't think I've actually tried that. Tried testing whether a macro can be set to essentially stop looping, or yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll try that at some point. All right. Lance says, why doesn't YouTube work with the ATEM Mini Pro? It does. If you're watching this right now, you are seeing a demonstration of YouTube working with the ATEM Mini Pro. I am streaming directly from the ATEM Mini Pro to YouTube right now. So yeah, I'm not sure. If you tell me like a error message you were seeing, then maybe I might be able to help a little bit more. Brian says, are the examples of how to build overlay from the chat for Zoom? Oh, like getting chat from Zoom into your video? That's an interesting one. Okay, so a couple things I'm going to say there. One, Zoom does have an API for most things, so I assume chat's in that, and I have never even thought about looking at that. But that's a cool idea. Two, sharing text or slides or anything with fine detail into Zoom video sharing doesn't work great because they are heavily compressing everything right now. They are running very low on bandwidth and seeing a lot of increased load. So they're compressing all the video feeds. And what that means is that the video that you're sending out may not actually have enough pixels to show fine text details well. I've noticed this a lot. I used to do all my presentations where I would share my slides. I would do my own picture-in-picture, share one video stream like I do on YouTube here, but over Zoom. And I kept getting comments from the Zoom viewers that were like, can't see your slides, can't read it, it's all blurry. And I was like, okay, well, I see what's going on. As soon as you switch to screen sharing directly, then they actually prioritize the resolution of that and not the frame rate. So it delivers better. So if you wanted to do live chat overlays from Zoom chat back into the Zoom call, you would probably want to do it overlaid on your computer screen that you're screen sharing, not your video feed, if that makes sense. So that's a little weird. Liam says, how are you switching in video from your phone? Oh yeah, I actually have a live stream that talks about this where I demoed it for the first time. It's the one that's called NDI from an Apple TV. So this is the NDI Camera app on my phone, wirelessly over my Wi-Fi, pushing the video to the Apple TV that's down there, which is running an NDI app, viewer app. And then my Apple TV is plugged in as one of the ATEM Mini inputs. So that ends up actually working out surprisingly well and not really any delay added. And now I have a wireless camera that is very easy to use. Cool. And I just saw a super chat, so thank you so much. Can you get live DJI drone footage in the ATEM Mini? I don't own any drones. Can you believe it? None at all. So I don't really know. I've never tried, but I do remember seeing somewhere that some of the drones, I don't remember which ones, the controller for them has an HDMI port. So the drone will send the video that you're watching to that screen, but then that controller can send out over HDMI whatever's on the screen. So you have to make sure that it can do like clean HDMI out and not show you the interface controls over that. But yeah, it should work. And as long as you can get an HDMI feed, you can get it into the ATEM Mini. So that's sort of the steps to look at. And yeah, it should work. Cool. Okay. Oh, Renee says Curtis Judd has a video about audio. Oh yeah, that's a good call. Of course he does. He is the audio guy. go take a look at that. I'm sure it's a good video. Jake says, my ATEM Mini Pro won't recognize any USB-C media for recording. I've tried 2 terabyte, that's on their recommended list, and a USB jump drive, both formatted exFAT. That's really strange. I've had surprisingly good luck with the with random drives I've thrown at this thing. I've tried this is actually just a little tiny thumb drive. I've tried like a regular SSD. I'm not sure what to say. I think exFAT's the right one to use. Yeah, I'm not really sure why some of them would not be recognized. Okay, so, this was earlier. I asked about the wireless HDMI because I want to build a setup with 3 cameras, 2 fixed and 1 roaming. Yeah, I mean, so wireless HDMI, I really like the Hollyland products. So the those are great, very low delay in those, and that would work fine for this, totally. Alan says, I think you can eliminate the Apple TV from the mix if you use the Shoot app for the iPhone. So, funny story. I tried now like 5 of these different camera apps for iPhone, and most of them weirdly have like a crop on the HDMI signal. And there's like a little black border that shows up. I don't really understand why. And the only one that doesn't have that problem is Live Air Solo. So with this one, which is actually not meant for this, but you can just plug in a HDMI out. So this is actually meant to live stream itself. But if you plug in an HDMI dongle, it'll output an HDMI feed that doesn't crop. And that works fine. All the other ones have this little black border. But the real reason I use the NDI is because I don't need a wire. And as you saw, I was walking around my studio. So a lot nicer to just walk around without having to be tethered to an HDMI cord plugged in here. So wireless iPhone camera is cool. Does Mini Pro record each feed separately? No. So there's only one recorder, one encoder, and it will record the program feed. If you want to record your individual feeds coming in, you have to do that separately. So you have to do, like you can record in camera. It's probably the easiest. You can also get a separate HDMI recorder like the Video Assist or like a cheaper one and record through that before it gets into the ATEM Mini. This is a clarification. So thank you. And thank you for the super chat. YouTube keeps waiting to receive the live signal from the ATEM Mini Pro. No error message, just times out. So the question is, does the ATEM Mini show on air in red or is it blinking? So the ATEM Mini, the only feedback you get, I wish there was a little bit more. The only feedback you get in the ATEM Mini is oh dear. What is that? Wow. Something is, oh, I left the macro loop button on. Okay, fun. Don't do that. So yeah, it was running my macro to switch to this angle repeatedly. Awesome. Good job. Yeah, so the only feedback you get, that wasn't what I even wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this. Is this, this is my test ATEM, not the one that's streaming right now, so you can see it's recording. If I press on air, see how it's blinking? So it's trying to send to YouTube, but YouTube didn't acknowledge it. So probably because I don't have a stream key on this one. So if it's blinking, that means that the ATEM knows something is wrong, and it's not even getting to YouTube. If it's solid, then the ATEM thinks it is sending something to YouTube. And then I would go into YouTube and try to figure out where it is. So like double check your stream key to make sure that you're not streaming to like an old video or some other video that you're not actually looking at. Cool, okay. Oh yeah, you can mirror your iPhone screen to an Apple TV and get this into your ATEM. But if you do that, you don't get a clean camera feed, right? Because you just share your phone screen. I don't think I've seen any of those camera apps able to AirPlay the camera feed itself, just doing screen mirroring. So, because I want just the full, no overlays. All right. All right, looking through the chat for a few more questions here. Johnny says, have you tried the ATEM Mini with StreamYard? I have. So I've actually, one of the shows I do for work is I have my coworker and I have a chat, and we're both talking the whole time. And we use StreamYard for that because I haven't quite figured out a better workflow for, we both have ATEM Minis, so we could both be streaming somewhere, but I haven't quite figured out the right workflow for that, especially when I'm the one running the show. So we use StreamYard for that, which means we're both plugging in our USB-C webcam from the ATEM Mini, and then yeah, so it works great. But like all we're really using it for then is a, glorified webcam. And since it's just one camera angle, it's really just an HDMI capture card at that point. So not really necessary for what we're using it for, but it still does work well. Okay, so I'm seeing some people talking about iPhone apps. Oh wait, before I do that, Lance says it's just blinking. So if it's just blinking, it means there's no stream key or the wrong stream key in the ATEM. So double check that. That's what I would take a look at. Okay, so Live Air Solo works with AirPlay clean output. So I'm going to go into, do I have my HDMI? I do have HDMI. Do I have a free HDMI port here? I need more ATEM Minis. Or I need to stop using the Mini to run shows where I'm trying to bring in 12 inputs. Maybe I need to actually bring my bigger switcher into here at some point. Anyway, so if I am on... Okay, I do see it says AirPlay. Oh, it's not in focus. AirPlay program stream. That's a good sign. So then, do I just AirPlay out of this? See, I don't think... I'm going to try screen mirroring from my phone. And... oh, holy crap, it does work. You're totally right. Okay. So switch over to this one. The question is, how is the sync? Oh, the colors are terrible. Okay, I don't know why the colors on this one are so much worse. The question is, how is the sync? Again, my audio right now is synced up for the main camera, so this one. And I can't tell from here, but how is the sync? Actually, it looks decent. Pretty close. That's good. Okay, this is AirPlay from what's the app? Which one did I just use? Live Air. Jeez. Yeah, Live Air Solo. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That works great. So that was Live Air Solo, and I then went into my iPhone and it did regular like iOS screen mirroring. And then Jose says Shoot also does that. So let's see. Shoot. My phone is still in mirroring mode, so back to the... Okay. So now we're looking at... Whoa, too many screens. This is the Shoot app, and I'm AirPlaying again my whole phone, and it's now... Okay, but see, those bars, those are definitely not supposed to be there. See how it's got... Maybe there's a setting in this app to change the aspect ratio. but those bars should not be there. But this one is very delayed. It's not delayed. It's just laggy. So I'm not as impressed with that one. And then the last one was Filmic Pro. So let's take a look at Filmic Pro. And I think that one's over here. Again, my phone is still in AirPlay mode. Filmic Pro can also AirPlay. Whoops. And okay, so I've got the overlays. Can I get rid of the overlays? If you know where this is, let me know. Because there's so many buttons on this device. Tap to hide interface. Oh, is that how it works? Yeah, but now see there's the crop. So how do I get rid of that crop? See how there's the I can't point at things. This. No, this. On that one, the one that says Apple TV. There's a black border. It shouldn't be there. Yeah, it's because it just hides the interface when I tap. It doesn't like switch modes. So maybe there's a button HD, yeah, crop source, no. It is at HD. Well, let me know if you have any ideas. But of these, I feel like the best one was Live Air Solo. But even then, let me go back to the NDI one because I still feel like the colors were better in the other one. Oh, and now I have to un-AirPlay to get back to the NDI app. And sync up, come on. You ready? You ready? You gonna play along? Yeah, which button am I pressing? This one. So on the Apple TV, launch the NDI app, and then hopefully it sees the phone. No? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So this, in my opinion, I guess the colors are pretty much the same. This one I still feel like works the best though. Like it's not laggy, it's not jittery. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. But now we just tried 4 different ones, and that was an interesting experiment. The other thing I like about the NDI one is that when you quit the app, it just freeze frames on whatever the last frame was. So I can put that down like that. On Filmic Pro, if you press crop source to overlay, does that fix it? That button was grayed out for me somehow, so I'm not sure. Not sure what that was about. All right. Time to get a Constellation, the 8K one, the giant one with all the, yeah. No, I actually have the television studio. I just haven't used it in a long time because I was mostly using it for conferences. But it's also loud, so if I can figure out, if I can replace the fans in it, I might put it in here. Because I do seem to be running out of HDMI inputs a lot here. All right. I just realized we have passed the hour mark, but we're still going strong. I see a lot of people in here, so I'll do a few more. I should probably run at 11:30 though, so only a few more minutes. What's the best way to use a lower third coming in from Photoshop? I tried, and it comes in black and white. So if I'm trying to think, if it's coming in black and white, it sounds to me like maybe you are using it as just the key source and not the fill source. So Photoshop, do I have? No, let me show you on just the ATEM. So I've got a graphic in here already, right? I've got my, no, I don't have any lower. Okay, what I want to do is make a new one. Let's make a, come on. Oh, this will work. I hate this new document screen. 1920, 1080, and come on, fit to the window here. So if we make a new layer here, get rid of the background, and then let's do like a box here, but then do some fun colors. Something is, oh, I see. These windows keep popping up my other monitor, and then I get confused. So let's go from this color to like a yellowish, and then make a gradient. Not that kind of gradient. Let's make, oh, come on. How do I, geez. There we go. And then we do this. All right, so we got some color in there. And then just for fun, let's type in my name, but then use that to actually knock it out. So I will go ahead and do that, and then make a layer mask, but flip it. All right, so we got transparent, we got color lower third with transparent text. So if the best way to do this is you export directly from Photoshop into the ATEM switcher media pool. Make sure you got the right IP address plugged in. Aaron, color lower third. And make sure this is checked. Pre-multiply alpha is super important. Set to media player 1, sure, do that. And now, not that window, this window, if I go into my downstream key, this is the other trick. So you want media player 1 as the fill source and media player 1 as the key source. If you don't have them as if you don't have this as the key source, it's going to do something totally different. So now you can see that my computer screen is showing through the text down there. If I chose fill source as the key layer, it's black and white because the key layer is just black and white. It's just the alpha info. So make sure that you actually have your color info on that layer. And yeah, now when I'm overlaying this, then I'm now behind here, and you can see that the color is showing through my text as well. Cool. Hopefully that answers that question. All right. Audio is great. Audio is spot on. Oh, is that from when I was screwing with my audio? Cool. What's the name of the map graphic you use at the start of your program to introduce people as they log in? That's something I threw together. It is a bunch of JavaScript, piles of JavaScript code, not packaged up well, so it's not public yet. And for that other, so whatever the last program I was using, it's anamorphic because the iPhone screen is not 16:9. It didn't look anamorphic to me. It just looked like there was a whole border around it. Cool. Oh, and then this is a good point. Regarding the DJI drone question, some drones have the ability to stream RTMP. That's cool. That would work great. So you catch the RTMP stream in a computer and feed that into the ATEM Mini. That would totally work as well. I had no idea they had RTMP streaming on them. That's awesome. John, thanks for the super chat. Looking forward to see the Macintosh SE as an input. Yeah, good luck. Maybe. It doesn't boot right now, so I need to work on that. But yeah. And yeah, thanks. I have been working on the background. It's in progress. And now I'm not just in a blue void. So and got these little shelves in, put those together last week or 2 weeks ago or so, and I'm putting stuff on them now. And I was like, oh yeah, I have this in the box in the other room. So I threw that up there. Speaking of things on the shelf, the video I did last week was about this, which is a super, super interesting thing. And I see a bunch of questions in the chat about this. Yeah, I've been really enjoying trying this out. It is, definitely go watch my video about it. It's the last video I posted. It is intriguing. I have never seen anything like it before. It is basically everything I wanted in a live streaming box. It is super portable, like it's made for on the go. I don't think it's going to replace my studio setup here because it's, you know, limited number of inputs and things like that. But for conference recording, for like the small conference recording, it's basically perfect for that because I can run two cameras plus a USB input into it, which is really all I need for small conferences like wide shot, close shot, computer slides. And then that's the only other device I need. It's recorder, monitor, like everything is just built into that one thing. So it's even less stuff to bring than the ATEM Mini. And I did the video about using the ATEM Mini to record conferences, although that was before the Pro. So the USB recording wasn't in the ATEM Mini, so I had to bring an extra recorder. But yeah, so with the Pro, the ATEM Mini is now even better at conference recording, but I still think that one might beat it out for that scenario. But again, we'll see once I actually get back out anywhere and record anything in person again. Put it to the test. Renee says, all super chats are green and the background light isn't changing. All super chats are green because everybody has chosen the same number. The background lights are in fact, that color. I do see them, they're green. The color is not quite the same on the screen compared to what's in the room. But the other problem with what I've done here is my background used to be white or gray, so the color really pop, but now the color doesn't quite pop as much because I'm shining it onto a blue wall. So like if there's a red, I can just go and change my lights. So like if I change my lights to red, like this is a rich, deep red, but it does not look like that because it's shining onto a blue wall. Like it's more obvious if I shine yellow. This is like yellow, but now it looks green because it's shining onto a blue wall. Here's blue shining onto a blue wall, which really is really intense. But I'll leave them red just in case they change again. It's more obvious. Maybe I need to have them sort of like reset back to like white or something so that this is white. That way they are more obvious when they change. Jason says, have you used any of the iPad apps to control the ATEM Mini Pro? I have. I'm a big fan of the Strata Macros app, and what it does is it just connects directly to the ATEM wirelessly. Well, once it's on the network, and then the reason I like it is because you can program your macros to do whatever you want, and then you get one button to press to change those. And the reason I'm not using it here now, I'm using the Stream Deck instead, is because I have two ATEM Minis and they can only talk to one at a time, and I often want to run actions on both. So like when I press this button, for example, it switches my multi-view, it switches the HDMI out of the second ATEM to multi-view, and then also sets, something went wrong. There's too many things on that screen. Well, I'm apparently missing an action in that macro. There we go. So yeah, I'm definitely missing an action there. But it sets my main ATEM to show my computer. It sets the other ATEM to show multi-view, and then does picture-in-picture so that you can see me controlling the ATEM and see the effects it has on, it's the other one. Anyway, that's why I'm using these two. And I am now realizing that I should have wired this up differently because I should have had the Blackmagic camera running into my main ATEM so that I was on this one most of the time. But I can't make the chat show up on top of this window because of the way it's wired up. Oh, and speaking of showing graphics, thank you for the super chat again. Thank you for turning the light green again. And thank you for all the questions. All right. So I'm sorry I didn't get to all the chats, but we are definitely over time now. And I think I probably should wrap up here. Let me wrap up on this camera. Oh, I didn't even get to demonstrate the camera control you get in the ATEM software. Let me just quickly show that. Can I show that? No, I can't. That's the problem with the way I've done this. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. If I do this and then show that camera, I need to get rid of the audio delay. Yep. And then switch to the other ATEM. So connection, go over to the ATEM that actually has the Pocket 4K on it, because I want to show this, which is the new thing that I get to play with now that I have the Pocket 4K. So this camera tab, this is why one of the main reasons I was super excited about this camera, because now I get to control color grading from this. So I did a little bit of work to try to match the colors a little bit so you can see these tiny adjustments. If I reset these, you can see that it looks quite a bit different now compared to what it was at. So this was just default. And again, this is using a LUT. You are looking at a LUT already in the camera, which is the film one. And I'm trying to remember if I have a button for disabling that here or not. I don't see it. I'm still learning this whole thing. But yeah, so I can go and like tweak the colors a lot now. And I'm also not a color grading expert, so I'm learning all of this as we go. But I was trying to make it match my other camera a little bit better. I don't remember the values. I should have saved those values somewhere, but whatever. I have to do this over again. But you can like change the contrast, be in like an 80s movie, change the saturation. I can, oh yeah, this is great. I'll just stay like this for the rest of the show. Anyway, you get the idea, right? Like super powerful controls. And again, this processing is not happening in the ATEM. So this only works because this is telling the Blackmagic camera what to do, and telling that camera what changes to make on its color processing. So yeah, I still need to figure out either what color processing I should be doing here, or make a LUT and load it into the camera, and have that be the way that I match my colors, or just have it look good, because I don't actually know like which one looks more realistic, because like these are the colors that this is built into the, like, no adjustments in the Lumix G7. This is just straight off the G7. Sorry, the audio is off. But this is just whatever the G7 is sending out, no processing at all. This is what I've had on the stream for a long time. This is the Blackmagic with the film LUT applied. I don't really know which one I like better. My minor adjustments here as well. I'm not really sure which one I like better yet. So I don't know if like the G7 colors are the colors I prefer, or if it's just what I'm used to. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I've got a lot of stuff to learn there, and yeah, because I'm not at all an expert on this. And just look up the values from the stream recording. I forgot that it was recorded on this stream. I was watching a Blue Man Group live stream. Yeah. And Chris, thanks for the super chat. Is HDMI to cam link better quality than USB-C? That is a good question. I haven't actually compared the two. I do have this one on me, but I don't think I have enough USB or HDMI cables at hand to test this right now. But do I? No, I don't think it's gonna fit on that. Yeah, okay, I'm out of ports. But yeah, it would be interesting to compare a capture card capturing the HDMI compared to the USB signal it's putting out. I will say that even if it is better quality, using up the HDMI out to get into your computer is not something I'm a super fan of, because I would much rather use the HDMI out to get the multi-view, for example, because I want to see the multi-view of what I'm controlling on the ATEM. So I'm happy to use the USB-C for video out, because it has been good enough for everything I've done. If you want to see a demo of streams I've done that use the USB-C, check out my work channel. That's Octa Developers. Octa for Developers is a channel. And if you look at any of my OAuth happy hour videos, those are the StreamYard encoded USB-C out from both of our ATEM minis, running into, from StreamYard, like through my browser to StreamYard, encoded out to YouTube. And that's a good demo of what that looks like. So it's been, I think, good enough. I'm not sure the quality benefits of using HDMI instead, if there even is a benefit, would actually be worth it, because I would lose the multi-view. Cool. All right. With that, oh, thank you, Cameron, for the super chat. I just saw one more coming in. You guys are keeping me here. Trying to go and get some work done the rest of the day, but thanks, appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, love the YouTube comment overlay. It feels like an opportunity for a standalone app with more connections. So, I mean, it is. So, I've done this two ways now. I've done my hacky version of it, which is using a browser plugin to customize the style, the CSS on YouTube itself. So for that one, I go and I actually load up the YouTube. I use the pop-out chat, make that full screen, got custom styles there, and that's how that one works. That is a hack. That code only works on YouTube 100%, never gonna work anywhere else. What I'm using today is actually not that at all. What I'm using today is H2R Graphics, which is a dedicated app, a standalone app. And while I'm here, I can show you. So that is this app, and the comments show up here, and I can then click one, and it gets output over the dedicated monitor that it's connected to, and Luma keyed out, same way as my other method. This is an app that you can just download and then drop in the. You have to sign up for a Google API key, which is annoying because Google's API is a nightmare. But the yeah, this is standalone, and I do know that he is considering adding more platforms to this app. So it's not just, it won't only support YouTube. Hopefully he'll add other platforms as well. I don't know what his priorities are in terms of which platforms come next. But if you're interested in this, check out John Barker from Here to Record. Check out his channel, and he has a lot of, he has videos about setting this up and all that. And you can ask him questions and tell him which ones to prioritize. Any ideas if it's open source? It is not open source right now. I know a lot of people have asked and have even offered to help add things if it is open source. So maybe consider doing that, John, because I know I would be adding things and fixing bugs too. And I'm sure the code is not as bad as you think it is. So, all right. With that, I'm going to wrap up, and again, thank you all for watching, and do check out that video I just did about the YOLO box, because it is super interesting. I will be doing more videos about it. I'm hanging on to this, and I'm gonna use it in some more different kinds of environments when I get a chance to. So keep an eye. And again, if you did hang on through this whole stream, and if you have not yet subscribed, please do, because if you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified for all notifications, then you might actually get a push notification when I go live next time and not miss it. And I know that some people have been a little disappointed to get the notification halfway through the stream only to join late. So give that a shot. And hopefully YouTube will send you a push notification. It's always a crapshoot. We never actually can be sure. So yes, thank you all for joining, and I will see you next week.